Okay, everyone, first things first, I need you to wave hi to my new daughter, Suna. Isn't she cute? Okay, let's get to work. Let's put in this background. Background is a very, very dark green, kind of a foresty kind of thing going on. I am working off of a photo reference, just so you know. And there's some kind of trees, bushes, kind of things going on in the background. We'll just block those in with some just globby shapes of color. You'll see from this I'm just blending it all together with my finger. I'm not using any special tool. What I'm using here is extra soft pastels. This is a Sennelier brand, if I'm saying that correctly. These are great because they have nice, bright, vivid colors, and they're really easy to work with. At least I think so. And what we're doing now, we're done with the background. We're working on the fox now, and I'm laying down some underpainting. I'm laying dark up around the ears, and those blue accents are what will show through when I start adding details of finer hairs. And now we'll start with the underpainting the rest of the fur with just some yellow lines that I'll blend in the same direction that I drew the lines in with my finger. And now we can start adding some finer details on top of that underpainting. We'll start with that left ear. Some darker blue shows through there. It's black fur, but the light hits it, makes it look blue. And really, I'm just getting that from my reference photo. I can look at it and actually tell. And I can move down, start adding some details, blocking in the eye shapes and the shadows to give it depth. Now let's start giving this fox some red fur on top of this weird-looking yellow. This is where the details go over top of the underpainting, and you really start to see some results. It starts to look like what you want it to. Now at this point I realize that right ear is not going to have any white hair show up if I don't darken it, so I need to fill in that space dark like that. And then I can go over with the white pencil and add some fine hairs and start to get some detail in there. And then that, because you can't see the light if it's on top of a light background. You need something dark. Alright, so far so good. Now moving on, I'm going to add some more red, brownish red to the fur. And that still shows the lighter yellow coming through underneath, so it has some contrast. You can see it, but then later on I can go and add some lighter hairs on top of that and just layer and layer and layer and give it that more realistic fur look and really give this painting some depth. See that? I can add white or yellow hairs on top of that brownish red and even the yellow that's there, and it stands out more now. Now I'm looking at my reference photo again. I'm realizing I need to add some shadows around the snout so that the white parts stand out into the foreground a little more. Make that parts of the snout jump out at you a little more from the page. And also the eyes aren't quite in a position that matches what I'm looking at in the reference photo, so I'm going to use a proportional divider to check my work. That will help the brighter parts of the eyes stand out more and be more noticeable. The position was actually okay. Just needed to make them pop by putting in some shadows. Checking, checking, checking. Now I'm just moving on. I'm just checking the whole thing, going through, adding more detail as I see necessary. I'm darkening the eyes, adding some shadows and making the highlights stand out so it gets that watery, reflective look in the eyes, kind of tweaking that. And now it's time to do that branch in the foreground. Now check this out, because there's not going to be a whole lot of detail with this. Not like with the fur on the fox, which is our main focus of the picture. Look at the background, how it's all blurry. We don't care what's in the background. We can get from the color and the shapes that there's some trees, vegetation back there, but we don't really care what's back there. The camera didn't pick it up. It kind of looked like that in the photo reference I'm using. But we don't need to go through and add every little leaf in the background. No one cares. It doesn't look realistic anyways. We want it like blurry. We want to be able to focus on the fox that we're looking at. And the same thing for what's in the foreground. We're not going to make it as detailed as what we want to focus on. Look at the paw sitting up on the log. I didn't draw every hair on that. It's just a few splashes of color, really. That's all you need. We'll go through, add some detail to some things like the moss. But the rest of it, yeah, it's looking pretty good here. I'll blend in the background a little more. And we'll call that done. Boom, one fox. Thanks for joining me today. You can view a larger gallery of my work or find things for sale at my website, naughtynibs.com. The link is in the description below. Click on the Naughty Nibs logo or click the subscribe button so you won't miss any tutorials or fun time-lapse videos I make. Remember, we're all learning together. See you next time, and keep your pencils sharp.